So in continuation with the last lecture, we'll see today what is inverse Z transform. As we know, Z transform is given as x of z equals to summation n equals to minus infinity to infinity x of n z raised to minus n. ROC is all values of z for which x of z exists. And we have seen Z transform of some of the standard signals, that is Z transform of a raised to n u of n equals to 1 upon 1 minus a z raised to minus 1 with ROC mod z greater than a. This is a positive sided signal, and we know that for that ROC is always mod z greater than mod a. Also we have seen Z transform of a raised to n u of minus n minus 1 equals to minus 1 upon 1 minus a z raised to minus 1 with ROC mod z less than mod a. As you can see, these two signals, this is a causal signal as we have discussed earlier in the class, a raised to n u of n, a positive sided signal. The Z transform is 1 upon 1 minus a z raised to minus 1 with ROC mod z greater than a. This is an anti-causal signal, a raised to n u of minus n minus 1. The ROC is this, the Z transform is the same with negative sign, and ROC is opposite of the ROC of the causal signal. This already we have discussed in the class, but before starting with inverse Z transform, we should know that what is the Z transforms of these standard signal. For example, the next signal I can show you is, already we have discussed also, Z transform of cos of omega naught n u of n is equals to 1 minus cos omega naught z raised to minus 1 upon 1 minus 2 cos omega naught z raised to minus 1 plus z raised to minus 2 with ROC mod z greater than 1. And using scaling property, Z transform of a raised to n cos omega naught n u of n equals to 1 minus a cos omega naught z raised to minus 1 upon 1 minus 2a cos omega naught z raised to minus 1 plus a square z raised to minus 2 with ROC mod z greater than mod a. This also already we have discussed. Using scaling property, we'll apply scaling property here and we'll get this. So for finding inverse Z transform, you should know that Z transform of these standard signals are these, so that when we get these type of signals in Z transform, the inverse Z transform will be this. And we have to look at the ROC also. It is very important that you have to look at the ROC, otherwise the inverse transform you cannot find. Because if ROC is greater than 1 or greater than something, it is an causal signal. And if ROC is less than something, it is an anti-causal signal. So always keep in mind that for finding inverse Z transform, we have to see the Z transform with also with ROCs. So now we'll see how we can find inverse Z transform. I'll give you simple examples for finding inverse Z transform, and then we'll go to the problems. Now for example, let us see, if I give you one example here, what is the inverse transform? Like u of n, Z transform is 1 upon 1 minus Z inverse mod Z greater than 1. This is the ROC. Now if I tell you to find out the inverse Z transform of 1 upon 1 minus Z inverse, you will definitely say, I know the transform, I know the signal that the inverse Z transform of 1 upon 1 minus Z raised to minus 1 with ROC mod Z greater than 1 is u of n. Then if I say find the inverse transform u of minus n minus 1, the Z transform is minus 1 upon 1 minus Z inverse mod Z less than 1. So if I ask you to find the inverse Z transform of minus 1 upon 1 minus Z inverse with ROC mod Z less than 1, you will write u of minus n minus 1. Let us see with this example, with help of this, how can we find the inverse transform of some of the problems. So note down some problems and then we'll solve that. So first problem is find the inverse Z transform. First one is find inverse Z transform of x of z equals to 1 upon 1 minus 1.5 z inverse plus 0.5 z raised to minus 2 with ROC. The first one is mod z greater than 1, second one is mod z less than 0.5, and third one is mod z greater than 0.5 and less than 1. Now there are many methods of solving inverse Z transform. The important method is partial fraction method that we will be using here. So for starting this, we have to first find x of z using partial fraction method. So we know that this is a quadratic equation in the denominator. So we have to find out the factors. We know there will be two factors, and if you find out the factors, it will be 1 minus 0.5 z inverse upon 1 plus z raised to minus 1. One root is at 1 and one root at is 0.5. Now this will be minus 1. So one is at 1 and one is at 0.5. So we have to write this as partial fraction method. It is a upon 1 minus 0.5 z raised to minus 1 plus b upon 1 minus z raised to minus 1. This is x of z. If I know the values of a and b, I can find the inverse Z transform of this. If I know the value of b, we can find the inverse Z transform of this. Now finding a and b, we can use the Cauchy's residues theorem that says that a equals to x of z into 1 minus 0.5 z inverse equals to 2. Similarly, b equals to x of z into 1 minus z inverse with z inverse equals to 1. If you find the value by putting this, the value of a, you will get this will be getting cancelled, and you put z inverse as 2, you will get this as minus 1. And for this, when you put this value and you get the value as 2. So putting this value a and b at this place, we can get that x of z equals to minus 1 upon 1 minus 0.5 z inverse plus 2 upon 1 minus z inverse. So x of z we are getting as minus 1 upon 1 minus 0.5 z inverse plus 2 upon 1 minus z inverse. So finding xn from this, we should know first what is the ROC. And ROC is given in the problem. There are three ROCs given here: mod z greater than 1, mod z less than 0.5 and mod z greater than 0.5 and less than 1. The first one, if you see, when mod z is greater than 1, if this is the ROC for this and this, we can see here mod z greater than 1, this is also a causal signal and this is also a causal signal, because for this to be causal signal, mod z should be greater than 0.5, and for this to be causal signal, mod should be greater than 1. So combining these, we can now write what is x of n. So I'll rub this now and I'll write what is x of n for this. So for first ROC, we can say now for first ROC, x of n equals to, because mod z is greater than 1, this is also causal and this is also causal, so we know this is the ROC, this is the Z transform of a raised to n, so minus 0.5 raised to n u of n plus 2, this is the 1 upon 1 minus Z inverse is the Z transform of u of n. Second, when mod z is less than 0.5, when mod z is less than 0.5, this is also an anti-causal signal and this is also an anti-causal signal, and we know that for anti-causal signal the Z transform is same with negative sign and the ROC is opposite. So we know that now x of n will be equals to, this is the Z transform of 0.5 raised to n, but this is an anti-causal signal, so the sign will become here plus 0.5 raised to n and the signal will be u of minus 10 minus 1. Similarly, this also will be negative because this is anti-causal signal, so this will be become minus here, and this will be u of minus n minus 1. So this we can say this is a causal signal and this is an anti-causal signal. Anti-causal signal u of minus n minus 1, u of minus 1. So this shows that this is an anti-causal signal. The third one, if you see, mod z is greater than 0.5. So it is causal for only this part. Mod z is greater than 0.5. And mod z is less than 1. So this means this is an anti-causal. So this is a combination of causal and anti-causal, or we can say it is a non-causal signal. So for this, when it is causal, the same sign, we'll write this as same sign, that is this one, minus, because it's minus here, minus 0.5 raised to n u of n, as this is causal, plus this is anti-causal, so this becomes here minus, plus minus becomes here minus, and 2 u of minus n minus 1. So this is the combination of anti-causal and causal, it becomes a non-causal signal. So see how ROC is important here. Without ROC we cannot write what is the signal. ROC is always important. Whenever you find the inverse Z transform of any signal, you have to look into what is the ROC. Or even if you are finding the Z transform, you also always should write what is ROC. So this is one of the example I have solved as inverse Z transform, and this was also asked in Mumbai University exam in 2019 paper for 10 marks. So just look at this. I have taken 3 ROCs in this case, for causal, for anti-causal and for non-causal. So now we'll see one more problem here, but look at the procedure again. What we are doing here is, first we are writing this as partial fraction method, as a upon one factor and b upon another factor, then finding the values of a and b using Cauchy residues theorem. After finding a and b, we see the ROC, and with ROCs we write x of n. So here I have considered all the 3 cases: causal, anti-causal and non-causal. Okay, so we'll see one more problem. That is a second problem. So second problem is x of z equals to z square upon z square minus 0.5 z plus 1. So first find out the roots. First find out the roots of this. So I'll change the problem here. This is minus z plus 0.5. As I told you that first we have to find the roots of the denominator here. If you find the roots, you'll get imaginary roots, and whenever you get the imaginary roots, just see that we can find if we can arrange it in the form of like this. It is Z transform of a raised to n cos omega naught n. What is the Z transform of a raised to n cos omega naught is 1 minus a cos omega naught z raised to minus 1 upon 1 minus 2a cos omega naught z raised to minus 1 plus a square z raised to minus 2. Also z raised to a raised to n sin omega naught n equals to a sin omega naught z raised to minus 1 upon 1 minus 2a cos omega naught z raised to minus 1 plus a square z raised to minus 2. Mod z is greater than a, mod z is greater than a. This is the ROC of this. So if you anytime you get the imaginary roots, we have to go in this form, and we can see that if we can arrange this in this form, the inverse Z transform of this is this. So we'll just see that by whether we can arrange in this form. So I'll write down here, and also you have z square upon z square. So if you divide by z square, you'll get 1 upon 1 minus z inverse plus 0.5 z raised to minus 2. So comparing, only denominator we'll compare. You'll see here 2a cos omega naught equals to 1 and a square equals to 0.5. Whenever you get imaginary roots, compare the denominator with this form. So if you compare this, from this what you are getting is a equals to 1 by root 2, because a is 0.5 is nothing but half, a square is half, so a is 1 by root 2. If you put the value of here a as 1 by root 2, you get 1 by root 2 cos omega naught equals to 1. This is 2 into 1 by root 2. So, you will get here root 2 cos omega naught as 1. So, cos omega naught is 1 by root 2. But remember that we have to do only when you get imaginary roots for the denominator. Now, you see what we are getting here, a is 1 by root 2, cos omega naught is 1 by root 2, that means omega naught is pi by 4. We are getting a and omega naught. Now, we have to see that whether we are getting this form or this form. If you see in the numerator, we have only 1 here and this a sin omega naught. There is no z raised to minus 1 also. That means this is nothing but the combination of this plus this. So, now we know that denominator, what is the value of a? 1 by root 2 and omega naught is pi by 4. So, now I will write the denominator in this form. So, I will rub this down, I will rub this and I will write this as this one of these forms. Note down, a is 1 by root 2 and omega naught is pi by 4. So, omega naught is pi by 4. I will write down this as x of z equals to, denominator we got as 1 minus 2 into 1 by root 2 cos of pi by 4 z inverse plus 1 by root 2 square z raised to minus 2, as we got a as 1 by root 2 and omega naught as pi by 4. But in the numerator also we should get 1 here, so we have to arrange these two. So, I will write down here 1 minus a. What is a? A is 1 by root 2 and cos omega naught cos pi by 4 is again 1 by root 2. 1 minus 1 by root 2 z inverse, that is 1 minus half z inverse, but we are not having here anything as minus half. So, we have to do here plus same value 1 by root 2 into 1 by root 2 z inverse. So, that means we are adding nothing here, minus and plus becomes 0 here, because we have 1 here and we have to adjust here 1. So, this plus this is nothing 0, because we are adding minus of this and plus of this same values. So, it will be coming as 0. So, now I am getting as, I have arranged this as same. What is this? If you see this one, this part, you can see this part. What is this part? This part is nothing but, compared to this, it is 1 minus a cos omega naught z inverse upon 1 minus 2a cos omega naught z inverse plus a square, that is to minus 2. This we are aware that denominator we always get this. So, this is this part, and if you see this one, the separate one, you can say this one is this part. So, now we can arrange that, we know the inverse Z transform of this, inverse Z transform of this, and we can combine. So, I will write down a separate equation now, but now you know that we have arranged this as this. I will write down this again and write the inverse Z transform. Okay, you know, here you have noted down this. I will rub this and I am writing this. With ROC mod Z greater than a. So, I will write down this as x of z equals to, I am writing now this as 1 minus, I am repeating here, 1 minus half z inverse upon 1 minus 2 into 1 by root 2 is root 2 cos pi by 4 is again 1 by root 2, that is coming as same minus z plus 0.5 z raised to minus 2. Okay, then this is plus 1 by root 2 in 1 by root 2 is half, and we want also this because minus half plus half comes to be 0 and we want 1 here. So, 1 minus z inverse plus 0.5 z raised to minus 2. This is the first part and this is the second part. So, this is 1 minus a cos omega naught z raised to minus 1 upon 1 minus 2a cos omega naught z raised to minus 1 plus a square z raised to minus 2. What is the z transform of this, inverse z transform of this? We know that inverse z transform of this part is a, that is a is what here, 1 by root 2 raised to n, and cos omega naught. What is cos omega naught? Cos pi by 4. Cos pi by 4 n u of n of this part which we have written here, plus again this one is sin omega naught n u n. So, this is 1 by root 2 n sin omega naught is sin pi by 4 n u of n, and this is the final answer. We have seen, just we have done 2 steps here, that we know that the imaginary, I am repeating here the steps, as we are seeing that the roots of the denominator are imaginary, we do not find the factors, we compare it with the z transform of cos and sin. As we know, for cos and sine we have arranged in this way, and then we got what is the value of A and what is the value of omega naught, and from that we have returned the inverse Z transform. So this is the inverse Z transform of this with ROC mod Z greater than A. So this is the final answer. If you have any doubt, you can post it as a comments. I'll be sharing this in Google Classroom and YouTube. You can share it in the comments. So this is the inverse Z transform of this x of z. Again, I'll share the steps. First, you have to find the roots of the denominator. If the roots are imaginary, don't find the factors. Compare it with the Z transform of a raised to n cos omega naught n un or a raised to n sin omega naught n un. As we know, when we know the Z transform, we can find the value of A and we can find the value of omega naught. As we know the value of A n cos omega naught, we can find its inverse Z transform. And this is the Z. Okay, thank you. Now I'll take the topic of analysis of LTI systems using Z transform in the next lecture. Thank you.